There we go. Just as a reminder, this meeting is recorded, and we're making that known to everyone now so that people can play it back if they're unable to join us. So thank you very much for joining us today. Let me get one more thing going here, just as a backup. All right, good morning. So this is our thankful Coffee with Counselors edition, and I want to start off by thanking Miss Andrea Norman from Aiken Technical College joining us today, and Mr. Andrew Hendricks from USC Aiken.
Hello.
Thank you very much for joining us, because I just want to start off by saying that I am so grateful for our partnership that we have with both of your institutions. It's unlike anything that I have ever experienced in my career. Obviously, I've worked with other universities before and different schools that I've been at, but nothing compares to, I'm genuinely saying this, please know that nothing compares to the relationship that we have with both of your schools. Is just fantastic. I know that I can depend on you guys. I trust you guys. You're really looking out for our students' best interest, and you really have a genuine compassion for wanting the best for our students. And so thank you both so much for that. And I'm glad that you guys are here today to share with our community about the opportunities that dual enrollment offers to our students. So with that said, I want to get started right away. Let's talk about those benefits that dual enrollment specifically offers to our students. And it is available. I will start off by saying to everyone that it is available to some rising sophomores, definitely rising juniors, and rising seniors. So it is open to that big group of population. So obviously there's some admission criteria. There's the type of student we need to consider, and you guys are both going to address those. So Andrea, why don't you start us off by just giving us a little bit of an explanation of what are some of the benefits of students doing and participating in dual enrollment, and you can even talk about the benefits on the campus of Aiken Tech, and then Mr. Hendricks, you can talk about the benefits on the campus of USC Aiken.
Thank you, Jovina. And again, my name is Andrea Norman, and I'm at Aiken Technical College. And yeah, I work with dual enrollment students. And what the benefits that I see for high school students that take classes with us that are worth college credit is that they really get to understand what college is like. They get to try classes that they might not otherwise get an opportunity to try, and earn college credit, which they can take really anywhere. I think it makes it very clear to them that there is a life after high school, and this is what it looks like. Also, the benefits are obviously financial, in that classes that students take through our dual enrollment program, we do have financial aid available for those programs. And so being able to get a high school credit and a college credit at the same time, it's kind of like getting a 2-for-1, which, when we were talking about time management earlier, there's nothing better than saving time in the long run. That's a college class you won't have to pay for at the rate you would pay for 2 years from now, as college prices go up. So the benefits are many.
And I would echo that. Absolutely, the opportunity to get a first glimpse of college life, to be in a college classroom, to experience working with a university level professor as opposed to a high school teacher. There are just some differences. Not that one's better than the other, it's just different. And we have definitely, over the 15 years that we've been heavily promoting dual enrollment at USC Aiken, we have very much valued the idea of having students in our classrooms. That's why we have the students come to campus. We do not teach dual enrollment classes at the high schools, and until this year, because of the incredible experiences of the pandemic, we have not typically allowed dual enrollment students to do online courses. We did open that up this year because of the COVID-19 situation, but we really want students on our campus and getting a feel of college life. As far as, another key benefit, I think Andrea touched on it for ATC, the incredible discounts that are available for students to pick up some college coursework at an incredibly low price. Our rate at USC dual enrollment is about an 80% discount over our normal tuition rate. We charge $66 per credit hour. Most college classes are 3 credit hours. So the average student in dual enrollment is paying somewhere around $250 for a 3-hour class. Parents, if any of you asked to come to USC Aiken and take one class from us, we'd charge you somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,400 for that class. I hate saying that. That's too high regular, to be quite honest, but it is an incredible value for dual enrollment students. So we think that's a key benefit.
Wow, thank you guys both so much. That's, just that financial discount in and of itself obviously perks up the ears of any parent when they know they have a child going on to higher education. So definitely a consideration on both campuses, significant discount, something to consider. Speaking of students being on your campuses, what type of student would you guys say is successful in your programs? Andrea, can you tell us what a successful kind of typical dual enrollment student looks like on the campus of Aiken Tech?
Yeah, I would say that the student that does best in a dual enrollment environment is someone who is self-motivated, who doesn't need a lot of assistance getting their work done, has time management skills, really has some long-term goals, and is really loves learning, loves trying new things, isn't afraid of asking for help. We have support services available to us on campus, but you have to ask for them, So I think that the kind of student that really wants more from life in a way, sort of is looking, sort of craving more information from the world. I think that is the kind of student that is really successful in our dual enrollment program.
I would echo that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of call it a juggler. You've got to be a student who's willing to juggle high school classes, college coursework, driving to and from the college campus. Maybe you've got a part-time job, maybe you're an athlete, maybe you're in the marching band. We've got students in all of those scenarios who are successful in dual enrollment. Just because you play football or basketball doesn't mean you can't be part of dual enrollment. Just because you need to come back for 7th period band class and marching band practice after school in the fall doesn't mean you can't also do dual enrollment. You can, and you can be successful at it, because we've had dozens, if not hundreds, of students over the years do that. Right now, we've got about 125 dual enrollment students enrolled at USC Aiken. That number has been pretty solid for about the past 4 or 5 years. We have about 40 of those students from South Aiken High School. South Aiken has always been a tremendous partner with us, as Ms. Weimer was saying earlier. So, we're looking for students who are willing to challenge themselves, as Andrea is talking about. Students who are willing to step up to the plate.
I think self-motivation is definitely a key ingredient. They have to have that desire to want to learn and desire to really manage their time appropriately, because they really are students in 2 different places. They're a South Aiken student still, and then they're a college student also. So, and then they could be that student athlete as well. So that's really juggling all of those roles and responsibilities. Time management is the key. What are the qualifications for admission to your programs? Now, they are different for both institutions, so definitely I want you both to speak on this. And then how do they apply specifically to your program, and do you have a deadline for those applications? Andrea, do you want to start us off?
Sure. I would like to start off by saying that our application for dual enrollment students is available online. It's very similar to our regular application. It's just that the first page, that student would indicate that they are wanting to attempt dual enrollment classes. It is free. We do not have a deadline, but obviously we do expect you to apply at least a week or 2 before the program starts, just to give us the opportunity to advise you and get you scheduled for the classes that you want. So give us a couple weeks. Our spring semester starts January 11th, so apply as soon as possible if you're planning on starting in spring. If you're wanting to start in fall, you have a little bit more time, but still keep that in mind. I'm trying to remember the rest of the question.
I'm sorry. The requirements for admission.
The requirements. Well, Aiken Technical College is an open two-year institution. Our requirements are not as involved as USC Aiken's probably are. Apply with us. Let us know that you're a high school student, and our requirements are small.
Andrea, do you require the students to take your what is that test? Is it
the AccuPlacer test? That's true. We do require a placement test, and that just helps us understand what level of college class you should be in, so that we're not putting you something in too easy or something that's too hard for you. That test is free the first time you take it, and scheduling that is simple. You just simply have to call our testing center and make an appointment to go. And unless you already have an SAT or an ACT score, you can submit those in place of that AccuPlacer test.
Okay, perfect, wonderful. All right, what about USC? Wait for the bell. What about USC Aiken?
Live from South Aiken High School.
Yes.
It is now second period. So parents, as you listen to Andrea and myself, you're going to hear a lot of commonality. You'll hear me say, oh yes, we do it very similar to that at USC Aiken. This is the one place where we do have some pretty significant differences. USC Aiken does require some academic standards and some requirements that students have to meet in order to participate in dual enrollment. Because we know it is a challenge, we want to make sure students are ready for that. And we do our placement based on some of the things that are required in the admissions process. So our admissions deadline for the spring has already passed. If you are really interested in trying to add your student into a USC Aiken course in the spring, I would encourage you to reach out to me as soon as possible. My contact information and all the information on dual enrollment is on our webpage at usca.edu/DE, as in dual enrollment. So please feel free to reach out if you're interested in the spring. If you're looking at next fall, March 1st is our priority deadline, although we would strongly encourage you to apply earlier than that. In the past, we've hosted application days here on campus at South Aiken. I don't know if Jovina and I are going to be able to work that out this year because of the limitations caused by the pandemic, but we've done those kinds of things in December and January in the past. So go ahead and have your student apply, in January if you're thinking about it for next fall. There's a $10 app fee, so it's not an onerous fee. We need to see their high school transcript. We need to see that the student is in the top 25% or has at least a 3.5 GPA here at South Aiken. We look at standardized test scores. I know that that's a challenge these days. So we're going to be flexible as needed, but we like to see either a PSAT, an SAT, pre-ACT, or an ACT score on the student. Typically, we're looking for things like a 1020 or higher on the SAT or the PSAT. We're looking for a 21 or higher on the ACT. And again, those are things that help us to also place students in the appropriate classes on our campus. The last piece, and here's a key part of the partnership between the student, the parent, the high school, and the university, is we have a signature page that we ask the student to sign, saying they understand that they are stepping up to the plate and they're going to face a higher level of effort needed to be successful. We ask you as parents to sign, saying that you are okay with your student taking part in dual and understanding that it's a little different than high. And we ask the school counselor to sign, saying that they feel that your student is ready for this challenge and they are supportive of the student being dual enrolled. So application, fee, transcript, test score, and that supplemental signature page, those are the things that we need in order to review an application and get a student admitted.
Wonderful. And I'm glad you mentioned that relationship and partnership between the student, the parents, and the university. That is so important for all of us to communicate with one another so that we can obviously help the students be successful. With that being said, also, I want parents to know and understand that we also have a district contract that we also have all of our students sign, and it just has a listing of understanding of how it affects the student's transcript, how it affects the student's GPA, specifically if there are courses that can go towards graduation requirements. It really spells out all of the things that we just want to make sure everyone is on the same page about. We just want to be transparent so that there's no surprises for anyone later on. So if you are interested in doing that dual enrollment, not only filling out the applications for each institution, but there is that district, Aiken County Public School District contract that also needs to be signed by the parents and the students. What are some examples of some types of classes that students can take, dual enrollment students specifically? I've noticed a trend over the years that are of classes our students enjoy taking and are very successful in, but I've also seen a difference between the two institutions. So Andrea, can you give us a brief synopsis of some of the popular, most courses that students take at Aiken Tech?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of our students start with English 101, a lot of times because it's a prerequisite for other classes that they want to take. In addition, students often take college algebra if they qualify. Another couple of popular classes are our Psychology 101 and our Sociology. Those are sort of, a real introduction to your liberal arts education that is, part of what college is about. So those are very popular, but we also have students who are taking welding, art history, music appreciation is also another really popular one. As long as the student has met the prerequisite, for the most part, the students can take a huge variety: chemistry, biology, anatomy and physiology if students are interested in a medical career. So the sky is kind of the limit.
And I would echo that at USC Aiken. Literally, the sky is the limit. I have a young woman from South Aiken High School signed up to take Astronomy 111 in the spring semester, Monday, Wednesday, 6 to 8:40 p.m., 2 nights a week. She's going to be in the Ruth Patrick Center learning astronomy and then going up to the telescope, to the Bechtel telescope on the roof and observing the night sky with her professor and classmates. So that's maybe an outlier. We don't have lots of students doing classes in the evening at USC Aiken. Lots of our courses are very similar to what Andrea is describing at Aiken Technical College. Lots of interest in things like English 101, 102, the math sequences, be it algebra, pre-calculus, university level. Keep in mind, when we talk about algebra, we're talking about college level algebra, college pre-calculus. That is different. That is a higher level than pre-calculus at South Aiken High School. Just because courses have the same name on a high school and college campus does not mean they are the same course. So a student may have done Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2 here at South Aiken, and then they go back to college algebra on the college campus, okay? Lots of interest in those sociologies, psychologies, music classes. Intro to Theater is a very popular course for us, a great fine arts course, learning about the background of theater. We joke, we're not putting anybody on stage to recite Othello. It's just the history of the theater, that kind of thing. But there's a pretty wide array, and we're always open to students asking for courses. We do a list. If you go on that USC Aiken dual enrollment page, see an excellent offered for spring of 21. That is a list I have curated out of 1,000 courses that USC Aiken is offering in the spring. These are about the 250 that most dual enrollment students want to pick and choose from. But certainly a student can ask for something off of that list, okay?
Excellent suggestion about, looking at that list on your website. And I can't say enough about both institutions. You guys both have specific information about your dual enrollment early college programs on your websites. And again, I just want to encourage parents and students that is your best resource. It is the most up-to-date, accurate information. Both places, both Aiken Tech and USC Aiken, keep those updated constantly, and we refer students there immediately. So again, I just can't say enough about the websites and the information that they provide.
Andrea, do you want to give your website? I gave mine a minute ago.
Oh, I know. I already wrote yours down. The website to visit ATC is atc.edu. And if you're looking specifically for our early start or dual enrollment programs, there's a drop-down menu where you can choose on high school programs, and it lists more information, including how to get to our application. And then I believe there's some information sort of generally about our program. So yeah, thank you, Andrew.
Before we get off of the topic of classes, I also wanted to put in the plug for parents to not see dual enrollment as competition for advanced placement courses.
Thank you.
South Aiken has definitely made an investment in offering more AP courses than they did even just a couple of years ago. Many of your students are probably taking an AP course now or are on path to take one or more next year. I think I'm correct in talking for Aiken Technical College as well as USC Aiken here in that we see those two programs as collaborating, as complementing one another, not having to be exclusively one or the other. We have lots of students who are dual enrolled with us who are also taking 1, 2, maybe 3 AP courses here at South Aiken in the same year, and that works. It works fine. So don't feel like it's one or the other. They're both weighted the same on the high school uniform grading scale for the state of South Carolina. So the students get the bonus points for either option. And sometimes folks just think they compete, and that is not the case at all.
I agree. I'm so glad you mentioned that because it did used to, I would say 10 years ago, it was an AP student looked very differently than a dual enrollment student. And now I would say that we have definitely progressed and really combined those and partnered those courses together for the ultimate best of the students. So I'm so glad you mentioned that because it really is, the students are taking AP, they are taking dual enrollment, they're doing both together because they're both college level coursework. And so it is definitely not a competition as much as it is a support to the students and whatever it is they want to do in the future. So, and whatever they're passionate about.
Right. So if I could just elaborate just a little bit, you know, as both Andrew and I both work in admissions, as it were, and I know high school students often ask, well, is one better on a transcript than the other? And no, you know, like Jobina, Miss Weimer, and Andrew mentioned, they're both college level. The difference is that with an A the course and then pass the AP test with a 3 or better for that class to be recognized as college credit, I believe at both USC Aiken and Aiken Technical College and most institutions. With dual enrollment, when you pass the class, you earn the credit. That is the difference. One is not better than the other. It's just the way you earn your credit is different.
Very, very well said. And I'm so glad you brought that up, which leads us right into my next question. And that is, we get a lot of this from parents is and students too, will my credits transfer? And that is something that as school counselors, we absolutely do not feel comfortable answering that because it is a higher education institution's choice. And so how do parents, I don't know who wants to field this question or not, but how do parents or students figure out if the classes that they're taking for dual enrollment will transfer to wherever it is they want to end up going ultimately?
Well, the best website to find out specifically where a college credit will transfer is sctrack.org. And we can make sure that you all get the website. I believe it's sctrack.org.
Yes. Yes.
Right, and that is it's a South Carolina government site. So what they do is they basically catalog for all the institutions in the state where that credit will transfer and what it will transfer as. So some classes may transfer as an elective and some may transfer as the exact same course. For example, you know, English 101 at Aiken Technical College would transfer to USC Aiken as English 101. But if you were to come to Aiken Technical College and take something very specific like medical assisting 101. That may only transfer within the community college system as that same class. And if you were to go to USC Aiken, it may transfer as an elective if it transfers at all. And that's why checking out the website, once you know specifically what you want to take, is really a great idea. Another thing you can do is, Andrew and I are basically advisors for these programs. When a student comes to us, we're going to ask about their long-term plans. Do you plan on transferring to a four-year institution? And if so, we can guide you to classes that we know will transfer best for you. Some students come to us and say, I know I'm going to do nursing. There's nothing else I ever want to do. And then we can guide them to classes that may or may not transfer, but are part of that program. Andrew?
Great points, all of those. I echo what you just said, Andrea. sctrac.org, sctrac.org. It is run by South Carolina Commission on Higher Education. So if your student is thinking about college anywhere in South Carolina, that is an invaluable resource. Transfer credit or AP credit acceptance depends on the institution your student ultimately plans to attend and graduate from. So what's right for him or her at USC Aiken may not be the same if they're going to Clemson, or if they're going to Winthrop, or if they're going to CFC or whatever. So what we do talk about in our onboarding process is that it is up to the student and the family to do the research, to do the legwork, to find out how will these USC Aiken courses transfer to the other institutions that I'm considering. That might be considerable legwork if your student is going to apply to 8 or 10 different colleges, which I don't recommend, by the way. Your student should apply to no more than 5 colleges, in my humble opinion. Do enough research by the start of their senior year so that they're down to 5 choices. That's what my 2 children were limited to. I wasn't paying for any more application fees, okay? So do a little bit of legwork early on, and looking at the schools that your kids are considering, particularly if they are out of state. If they're not on that sctrac website, it may take a little more legwork to figure it out. But both Aiken Technical College and USC Aiken courses are incredibly transferable in the general terms. Both of us are regionally accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. That is the gold standard for transferability of courses. Aiken Tech, USC Aiken, USC Columbia, Clemson, Georgia Tech, UNC Chapel Hill are all SACS accredited. Okay, so you can have confidence that in a general sense, your students' courses will transfer. You just want to make sure in a perfect world, the student should want to make sure how it's going to affect them at their end. Now, Andrea and I would both be more than happy to keep your students at our institutions and help them graduate from us, so there's no worrying about how courses will transfer. But we are both professional counselors, and we want to help students find the right spot for them. If that's USC Aiken, if that's ATC, great. If it's somewhere else, we want to assist in that process, as she said.
Excellent plug there, Mr. Hendricks. Excellent plug.
You can tell I've been doing this for a few years, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness, you guys, this has been so helpful. Is there anything else that you guys feel like you want to share with families about dual enrollment, the program, or about your institution? Now's your chance to do that. Please share. Andrea, is there anything, last words of wisdom you want to provide for everyone?
Wisdom, oh goodness. I put my hands on here. Wisdom. I would say if you as a parent or your child is interested in learning more about dual enrollment, reach out to us individually. I'm sure we can get you our email addresses. Visit our websites. Do some research. Don't be afraid to ask questions. We can also refer you to, if you wanted to talk to an instructor, let us know. I mean, we can help you with that. Those are my words of wisdom, as ask questions, I guess.
Excellent. That's a good one.
Absolutely. And again, for about the 12th time, I will say I echo her words. Asking questions, digging, looking for opportunities, taking advantage of things like this. So thank you for joining us today for this conversation, and spending a little bit of time doing the web research. On our webpage, There is a 4-page FAQ about the dual enrollment program. Lots of the questions that you may have in general about, cost of attendance and how does it work and how do you start? Do you do an orientation session to help my student be ready to succeed? Yes, the answer to that is yes, we do. But all of that is in that FAQ. Okay, so please spend some time there. And whether you and your child decide that dual enrollment is right for you, if it's not, that's okay.
Right.
But continue to push your child to do more than just the minimum. Continue to encourage them to challenge themselves. That may be right here in the building at South Aiken High School, and they may be a student who, as a senior, they have 4 AP courses as a senior, and that's plenty for them, and that's great. We want to see students be successful. Yes, selfishly, we'd love for some of them to come and enroll at our institutions. No doubt about that. You've got a great 2-year college and a great 4-year university within 10 miles of South Aiken High School. So take advantage of us. That's what we're here for. But we want to help your student find the right spot. So feel free to reach out, ask questions. Ms. Weimer can certainly get you in touch with us. But between atc.edu and usca.edu, you're going to find lots of information from us.
Wow. Thank you guys so much. Honestly, you guys did such a great job presenting all this information. I can't think of anything else that we need to cover right now, because I do think this goes back now that parents and students have heard this information. This is a conversation that I hope that they have together as a family, because it is such a big decision. And so it's definitely a discussion that needs to happen at home. And it does take time. I want to encourage families to really process this, think about it, because it's not a decision that can be taken lightly. It is an important decision, one that needs to be well thought out and discussed, and that you guys, families, have to feel confident about their decision that they make. It isn't for everyone, and that's okay. That's fine, because obviously we have challenging courses here at South Aiken, obviously, but it's definitely an option for people who do want to get ahead, are self-motivated, they know what they want to do, and it's just a great opportunity. So I just want to thank you both for joining us today. I appreciate it so much, and I'm grateful for the partnership that we have. And I wish you guys and everybody's families a happy and safe holiday season. So thank you guys very much for joining us today. And that's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.